Hello, y'all. Hello, all. Welcome to Passionately Intrigued Arts, and this is Tracy. I wanted to give you show you what I have been learning along the way. A few tips, a few tricks in this rhinestone world, but this is, I'm blinging shot glasses. I'm starting real small because I do not want to do a full tumbler, a full cup. So um, I find it peaceful to sit here and bling out the shot glasses. So I've done two already, and I'm working on a set of four. Whether I sell them individually or in sets or a group of four, I'm not sure yet because I don't even know what to sell them for. But let me take you on this little journey that I'm doing, sitting here relaxing because I'm fighting this freaking cold. So, I know my voice sounds manly right now, but it's just this cold. And I can't sit still. I don't feel right if I'm not doing something. So, babble, babble, babble. Let's get this party started. Let me just show you a few things that I'm learning along the way that help me out, and perhaps these tips, these tricks will help you out as well. Hold that thought, and let me get set up, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. So first of all, let me show you the shot glasses that I have completed thus far. This was the very first one that I did, and I posted this one on YouTube and various other sites. And what I did was, now, don't quote me, I have no idea. I've had these rhinestones forever, and that means years. And I did order them from Amazon some time ago, and they have they're iridescent, they're AB, and they have like a gold like finish on them. But what I did, I just pulled out some rhinestones and I started working on this one. Um, I take a paint pen and color the top because I don't want the rhinestone to come all the way up to the top where you're sipping on it, and you got rhinestones in your mouth, not in your mouth, but. So I do about a fourth inch with the paint pen to start out, and I use the Posca paint pens, permanent. Let me get that right. I have it in silver and then also in the gold. And so, what else did I want to say about this? So, I start at the bottom, and then this is the honeycomb pattern, I suppose. So, I start at the bottom and get that whole rim around here done, and I let that sit, to dry. And it doesn't take too long to dry. I'll show you what glue that I use so that that's set when I put these other ones on, that they, don't push these out of the way. And sometimes I'll turn it upside down and do it, but then I found that if I start at the bottom and do it upside down, then they will slide. So that's why I decided to do this around here and let it set and then start going around. So this is one that I've done, and like I said, it's this iridescent gold. So what I want to do is use this stone and put it on a cup like this. So I did this one in gold, and these rhinestones are more, they're iridescent, they're AB, I don't know, but they're more silver to me. Well, what I want to do is flip this. I want to take a gold rimmed cup and use these rhinestones on that glass, and then the vice versa. The silver rimmed, I want to use these rhinestones. I don't know if I have enough, but I'm going to get started on another cup glass now that's trimmed in the gold, but using these rhinestones. Ooh, that was a mouthful. So before I truly get started, let me just show you some of these tips or tricks or things that I've learned along the way. That always happens. I save my medication bottles. I save everything. And I just painted the top with some enamel. And I store the small amount of rhinestones that I have in these little containers. That's tip number one. The other tip was using the Posco pens to paint around the rim. Now, I have this type of rhinestone picker-upper, and I had purchased some of these extra tips. However, you know, I may be OCD and anal and putting things away and knowing where they are, but I can't find them. So what I do when this fails to pick up, you know, when it gets too gooky or whatever, I have an old, and I don't know if they still sell these or if you can find the wide mouth pencil sharpeners, but this is an old Avon. I used to sell Avon. This is an old Avon eyeliner, lip liner, lip whatever sharpener. And this one right here is the large one, but it comes out. Oh, I dropped it. Oh, don't lose it. And so I just stick because it's wax, I stick that wax in there and I just sharpen the tip to get the gooky layer off. So that took that layer off, and that should help me pick up the rhinestones now. It works for me. It has been working for me. And if you can find one of these type of sharpeners, you know, with the wide mouth, that helps. Okay. What are some other tips? So I use liquid fusion, and you know, I store it in a glass upside down so that my glue is always at the tip. However, for the rhinestones, I don't use this bottle to squirt onto placing the rhinestones. I put it in one of these precision tip bottles, and you could order these from Amazon. And so this is another tip. So, you know, they come with these rings, these little things that you can put on the tip. Let me just, okay. So this is also, I cover it with a finger cat. Is that what that's called? Okay. All right. So I take the metal tip out and I just stick a pin in here. And then to store it so that the glue doesn't dry, I make sure that pin is pushed down and I put my finger cat, which fits perfectly on here, snugly. I put that on there and roll it down as far as it'll go. And then this little thingy, rubber thing here, I cut it off. It had a little tip that you would put on top of the metal pin. I cut that off and I just use this as like a rubber band, and I put it on here when I'm done to keep it fresh, keep it from drying out. And then I also keep it upside down in a little glass cup, glass container, a little something to keep it upside down so that your glue is at the tip when you're ready to use it. Okay, I'm going to take you down for this next. Okay, so I have many of these rhinestone sorters, you know, that you put your rhinestones in and they flip for you. Now this one, you know, you put them in, you shake it, you know, from time to time. Oh, I'm not in the camera. You know, you shake it to get them flat, but you know, it's got this opening. From time to time, they'll come out. I don't like that part. This one here, the little triangle, and I've gotten all these from Amazon. The little triangle, you know, you put them in, try to get them flipped. All of them don't flip, but you know, you just keep flipping until you use them up, then flip again. You don't get many in here, okay? So what I found helps me out where I don't have to keep doing this is I use a small paper plate. I put them in here, and I'm going to even put more. And just shake that joker up. Just keep shaking it. Just takes a few minutes in the beginning, and eventually all of them will flip for you. And it makes life so much easier. You don't have to keep doing it so many times. Okay? Now, like I said in the beginning, I wanted to use the gold rim shot glass with these kind of, they look more gold iridescent to me. Use these rhinestones on this shot glass. But you know, we handle these glasses, we handle these tumblers and all with our hands, and you to get better results, you need to clean with alcohol. And I always cut up, get them from the Dollar Tree, uh, um, supply of a bag, a container of coffee filters, and I just take a handful out and cut them up and store them in a container. The coffee filters leave no lint. So you start out, put your gloves on. Use rubber gloves, then you won't continually put fingerprints on your work as you work. And it helps the adhesion of the glue and rhinestones so much more when you don't have oils from your hands. So I use my rubber gloves before I start to clean this. It's been cleaned before, but of course I've been handling it. So I don't spray on the glass, I spray on the paper, the filter. You don't need much. And just clean it. Clean it, let it dry. It only takes a few moments to dry. So I'll take the rubber band, rubber, whatever this is, off and roll off the rubber finger cut. Take my pin out, and I'll just start with a small amount, a small line of glue. Maybe, yes. As such, and then this will not drip out because it's thick. I just put it in my cup, my glass. Then I start this first row. And I find working this way, going this way works easy for me as opposed to coming this way. I don't know why. So I'll just start with this first row and try and make sure that they're evened up, lined up evenly. And that's what this end is for. And they slide a little bit at first, but if you let it sit for a little bit, you can still adjust them. And just turn it with your gloved hand. I think I can get one more on. And see, they're not on there quite evenly, so then I just go back and push them together and make sure that they are lined evenly. And what I do, now this first row takes me a little while. What I do is let this sit up. Give it maybe 5 minutes. And then I'll continue with the next set, let that sit. The next set, let that sit. So that these are firm on here when I start the other sets, the other rows. Then I don't have a problem, keep going around because nothing should move. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for 5 minutes, come back, do another, inch or so, inch and a half, until I come all the way around. and let this sit and dry for a little bit. So I've gone all the way around with the first row, and it's not perfect, but it's pretty much lined up to the best of my ability. I am by far not an expert on these rhinestones or laying them or doing glasses or cups. It's just a few things that I learned along the way that I want to share with you. So this has been sitting a good 7 minutes, 10 minutes, and it's pretty firm. So now I will start with my next row. And with this glue in this precision tip bottle sitting this way, like I said, it doesn't leak out because, you know, it touches the bottom. But you may have to take your pin and just insert it just to open that back up to get started again. So I do the same process. Now I may do dots in between each one, but I find it a lot easier just to do a little line of about 1.5 inches or so. And try not to put it on too thick like I just did. And I could clean that up with a toothpick, but I don't have one readily available. So I'm just gonna add the stones. And so like I said, I start from closer to me and work outward. So I'll place this first one in between. Am I in the camera so you can see that? In between those two on the bottom. And I believe this is called the honeycomb method. And then I'll just continue all the way around, placing a stone in between the next two. And pushing them in place if they're not all the way in. Oh, oh. Yeah, use that side to push them all the way in. Hope I didn't get any glue on that. And I'll continue this process all the way around and then start the next row. I think I have enough glue to put one more. Then I'll add another line of glue. And I'm going to try not to let it squirt out so thick. So it works if you dot it and then you don't get as much glue. Just put a bunch of little dots. And continue around. Now I won't bore you with this entire shot glass, but I just wanted to show you how I have learned along the way different tips and different things that help me out. So when I'm complete with this, I'll come back and show you the finished product. I just want to show you my progress. I've gotten 5 rows done. And now it's time to put more. So that's quite a few stones that I didn't have to keep refilling the little containers with. So I'm going to do it again and shake them up. Get them all flat. Doesn't take much and they all will flip over. See that? I believe that's all of them. And then I'll get started again. And then one more thing, I don't don't know, I don't remember if I showed you how I had a lot of glue down, but if you dot, if you take your tip and you just dot along the way, then you have a thin line of glue. Just keep your dots close together, and that way you don't have the excess glue. These tips really help to expedite your project and help stop with the frustration. If you use these tips to help you along the way, it makes the experience so much more pleasant and flows so much better, in my opinion anyway. So let me continue, and like I said, I'll be back when I finish, unless I come across something else that I need to show you. Another tip that might help you along the way, if you find that your rhinestones aren't picking up like you would like them to. Now I have used my pencil sharpener for this, but if you take a piece of your coffee filter, that's what that's called, and just spray a little bit of alcohol on it and clean your tip off, that'll get residue off. Let it dry. Alcohol evaporates fairly quickly. Let it dry, and then you will be able to pick these stones up again with no problem. And then another tip, and I'm not going to do it right now, but if you don't have the wide mouth, that thing right there, pencil sharpener, use a X-Acto knife and just, I don't want to do it right now because mine is good, just peel off a little layer all the way around, just a little thin layer all the way around the tip of your wax pencil, and that should help you to pick up the stones. I finished placing my stones all the way up to as far as I want them on this shot glass, and it sat here for a good half hour or so, and they're pretty dry. Excuse me. But of course I'll let it cure overnight. But before I do that, this gold rim right here, I mix up a little bit of 2-part resin and cover this. Hold on. I cover this section to seal in this paint marker, to seal in this gold. And I only have to mix just a tiny bit, and I'll let that sit. It'll be a thin, I'm going to apply it with my finger, and so it'll be real thin, and it should set up within half an hour for me to show it to you. So let me do that, and I will be back. This is what I'll be using. It's a slow cure epoxy, and I ordered this from Amazon as well. And it's a 2-part, but this epoxy dries in 30 minutes. So I'm going to try this out and see how that works. I'm using a silicone cup, and I just put a couple drops of each bottle into this cup. I don't need much at all. I just want to coat this, and when it dries, I probably will put another coat on. So I'm just going to use my fingertip, and I've mixed it well, and I'm just going to put that thin coat all the way around on this gold paint marker, covering, and just smoothing it over. As such. Really easy. So I'll let that dry for the 30 minutes. And I'll probably put one more coat on and I'll come back with this glass. I've waited 30 minutes, and that's actually the epoxy working time, the time that you have to use this to work with. So you can actually use this epoxy to apply your stones in thin layers, and it will set within 30 minutes. I've seen that done many years ago that's why I bought this stuff a while ago. I saw it on some YouTube videos. But I'm just using it to coat this here. I don't think I want to use it to apply. So for the most part, the working time, it's set. And I'm going to do one more coat and let it set. But I just wanted to bring this to you to show you the results. And then compare it to this other one. I don't know if you could tell the difference in the type of stones or the color of stones. So I think this one here looks better with these stones than this one does. And this is the silver one. Let me see if I can hold all three of them up. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate you. Thank you. I hope that I have helped you some type of way with the tips that I've learned along the way in trying out this new thing here with blinging glasses and cups and things like that. But never say never, but I really don't think I'm going to do a tumbler or anything like that. This is more my size, and I think they turned out really cute. I'm going to do another one, this silver one, off camera with the other stones, with the stones that are on this first one that I did. If I have enough. I don't even know if I have enough of these. But thank you so much. Let me know if you'll use any of these tips or if you use them in the first place. And leave me some comments. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Oh, one other thing. Instead of, you can paint this whole thing. You can spray paint it if you care to. If you don't want anything to show through, which you really can't see anything showing through. But, there are some cracks and crevices. So you can spray paint the whole thing instead of using the paint marker pens that I use. So you won't have, you'll have the gold behind there all the way. But that was too much work for me. So this works good enough. And I'll be doing this one next. And I'll have a set of 4 and we'll go from there. And one other thing, I don't know if I said it, if you don't want to use these glasses, you don't have to. This is something I made a while ago and I just use it to put things in. You could use a Dixie cup. Put your thing in a Dixie cup to keep it straight up. Any type of container. Even that little pill bottle that I had, you can set it in there. So anyway, I think that is all. Let me know what you think, please. I appreciate you all. Give me that thumbs up and peace out. We'll see you next time. Okay? Love ya.